Hello, my name's Odessa Esco, and this is Commonly Confused English. Today's two words and expression is go back and return. This expression and this word are actually synonymous, but over time we use them more in different situations. Return or returned has become more formal. Go back has become more casual. Because of this, even when you use the right grammar with the right word, you might sound a little awkward if you don't follow these fluency points. So today's video is going to be a little different because we already know there is no difference in these words. There's a difference in their grammar, and there is an emphasis on word choice that we're going to be making. I will be giving you some situations where these words just sound more fluent and vice versa. Go back, it just means to return to a place that you have already visited or been, or to return and keep doing an activity you paused for a second. If you're playing video games and somebody asks you to do something, you'll pause your game, go do it, and then you will go back to your game. When we use present continuous, things we're doing right now that we'll continue to do into the future, like a routine, let's say, we usually use the word return. If somebody asks you about your daily routine and you're telling them, I go to work and then I usually return home for 7 p.m. I usually go home around 7 p.m. Both of those are completely fine. I just noticed that it's more common for people to use the word return in a formal situation and more common for them to use go back in a casual situation. When we're talking about places we recently visited, most people use go back, especially if they forgot something there and they're going back specifically to get something they forgot or return something. For example, let's say you went to the grocery store, but you forgot to buy your almond milk. You might say, oh man, I have to go back to the grocery store. I forgot my almond milk. Most people would not say, I have to return to the grocery store. I have forgotten my almond milk. I keep making it more formal. Let me be normal. I have to return to the grocery store. I forgot my almond milk. That sounds so formal to me still. That's why I automatically put the British accent. I'm sorry, British people. I know you're casual and relaxed too, but the British accent sounds a little, a little uppity if you want it to. And that's what I think of when I hear people use returned in these casual settings. Another example of a casual setting where you'd probably hear go back more is when we're talking about intangible things like ideas and relationships. For example, let's say that you worked at a company and they treated you very poorly and you quit. You might talk to your friends and say, I'm never going to go back to them. Or maybe they tell you, I hope you never go back to them. They treated you awful. In this situation, it would be rare for someone to select the word return, but again, maybe because it's a job, you might find it fits better in some instances because it's a professional setting, but still, most people would say because they're talking about the relationship you had with the company. That's intangible. You can't touch it, so we usually go with go back in those situations. I'm never going to return to them. That's something you can say. It's just a little more formal, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you take anything away from this video, it's that the choice is yours. I just want you to be aware about the perception you might create by using those words. Another special thing about return is we use the word returned, which is the past tense of return, but it's also what we say when we want to bring items back to a store that we purchased them in. This would mean you're going to get your money back, or you're going to get maybe some store credit, but you're giving them back the item, whichever option you get in return. You'd say something like, oh, this is rotten. I just got it from the grocery store. I'm going to go back and return them. You're going to go back to the grocery store, casual choice, and then you're going to exchange your item or get your money back. You could use the word return earlier in the sentence as well and say, I'm going to return to the store and return these items. But it gets kind of confusing. Perhaps that's why people usually say go back in these situations, especially if you're using returned as in bringing back an item and exchanging or getting your money back. Okay, that's all for today's video. Remember, go back and return have the exact same meaning. You have to use different grammar. One is an expression, 2 words, and one is 1 word, so the grammar is different. That's the only thing that's different. Besides that, over time, we commonly use go back as the more casual option. You'll hear that more in conversation. Return means the exact same thing as go back, but it's much more formal. You'll see that probably more in written pieces of work, in professional settings, and of course for instructions and rules. Once you go here, please return this here. Once you go here, please return back there. Those are more formal situations. We also use go back more specifically when we're talking about places we recently visited or will temporarily visit again, like forgetting something at the store, work, school, places you go to and from a lot. We also use go back more for intangible situations. Don't go back to your boyfriend, he was awful. Return, we use it when we're talking about more formal situations, but more specifically when we're talking about routine activities. I went to work and I returned home around 7 p.m. yesterday. Or I normally go to work around 8 p.m. and return home around 5 p.m. And of course, returned has another meaning of bringing back products or exchanging things for in-store credit or your money back. In situations when you're bringing an item back, you're returning the item. If you have any more questions, make sure you leave a comment down below. And of course, click the link in my bio for all the commonly confused English words and phrases written down with more examples and tips for you if you're still confused. I'll see you in my next video. Stay cute. Bye.